I'm gonna say this, Halloween has got to be one of my least favorite holidays. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just Halloween was never my thing growing up, nor did my parents allow me to celebrate Halloween until I became like, what, 18? But what I will say is that today's story does get really insane and really embarrassing, not only for me, also for the girl that I was about to do the devil's tango with. So make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's just jump straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a really embarrassing story. So today's story takes place back in my grade 10 year. Now in grade 10, I want to say I was the ultimate like lady slayer. Like, I'm not joking. If it was walking, it was done. And me, especially around October, I'm not gonna lie to you, for some reason every year in October I do the most craziest things that I never actually pictured myself doing. Like, even if I check now my snap memories, I would see that I had done something really dumb in October, but at the same time never actually full on regretted it until this one Halloween. I remember one time in my high school there was a person handing out invites to a Halloween party, and honestly this guy does this like every year, so obviously me, I was gonna go because, well, who says no to a party? If you're a high school that doesn't go to parties, I'm gonna be honest, you're missing out, because it is part of the experience of being a high schooler. No matter what your parents say, no matter what, you know, all these movies are like saying like, oh, Halloween party's very bad for you. I'm not gonna lie to you, we live in 2023. Everyone is soy. Everyone is literally the definition of soft. So nothing's gonna happen to you. I'm gonna be honest. Going on from there though, I remember basically I ended up going home that night and getting ready for this Halloween party. Now, usually for Halloween, since my parents never really let me celebrate it, I ended up always going as like a cowboy, because my dad always liked the whole like cowboy stuff, cowboys and Indians, or, you know, all that cool stuff. I don't know. So I remember me, I would wear like this really like big jacket and wear a cowboy hat and just walk out of my house and call it a costume. But basically I remember I ended up getting ready. I got my costume on and I headed straight for the party. When I got to the party, I remember it was actually pretty cool. A lot of people were hanging out. There were a lot of different costumes, and I'm not gonna lie, even when I was in grade 10, the costumes that girls would wear in high school is out of pocket. Like, I'm not joking. They would wear the most tight, most revealing clothing I think I've ever seen in my life. And that's me saying that in a grade 10 context. Even nowadays, like, I wouldn't know because, well, I'm not in high school anymore. Clearly, as you can see, I have a full-on beard. But the main thing is that, like, for some reason in this day and age, especially like in this generation of children, I guess we're like, you know, our bodies mean nothing to us, which, I mean, fair enough. I'm living proof of, you know, always doing the devil's tango. But what I will say is that I'm not gonna lie, the costumes were out of pocket. Like, they were not PG whatsoever. Like, if we had a person walking in there trying to film a movie, the movie would be R-rated. Like, that's how bad it was. Going on though, I remember I was walking around and I was hanging out with some friends, doing my own thing and drinking and just having a good time. By the way, I know I was underage in this video. Don't underage drink. Please do not do this. I highly must mention it. YouTube, don't demonetize me. Don't underage drink. Going on though, I remember my friend ended up walking up to me and stuff, and he's like walking up saying like, bro, like, we gotta hit on some girls, bro. Like, let's go communicate with some women. And me, obviously, that was like the only thing that I only cared about back when I was in high school. So I just joined along with him and followed him around, wingmanning him. He was wingmanning me. And then that's when I ran into this one girl. Now, there was this one girl that was in an angel costume, but I'm telling you right now, if Jesus looked at her, you could tell she was not an angel, because the amount she was showing, like, holy snap, bro, you're going to hell. But the main thing is that she was wearing an angel costume and she was dressed very, well, naughty. And I remember I found her attractive because obviously, like, you know, if you're showing that much cherry, you're gonna show me, right? So I walk up to her and I'm like, hey, like, how's it going, girl? Like, what's up with you? And me and her, we start talking, having a good time. Now, this angel costume, I must mention, she was wearing all white dress and like she was just wearing like a halo. That was basically it. It was like literally wearing lingerie at this point. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't even call it clothing or a costume, because when you're wearing white, everything's see-through. But going on though, I remember me and her were talking, communicating and stuff. And as the night went on, me and her, we ended up becoming that weird like hookup at the party, I guess you would say. We got to the point where we started making out on the couch, making out in the kitchen. Like, we were just making out left and right. And every time like me and her were talking stuff, it seems like that she was like having these like mood swings or whatsoever. I don't know. It was really weird because like one minute she's really happy for me, the next minute she's like complaining to me about something, and then afterwards she like, you know, starts getting really upset for some reason. I don't know. This girl like was having major mood swings, and it got to the point where I thought she was bipolar. And I'm not gonna lie, as the night went on, it got to the point where the party was getting really crowded, to the point where I ended up telling this girl, hey, like, yo, I was just curious, do you want to like maybe like go upstairs and like, you know, just chill in a room? She ended up saying yes, and me and her, we ended up going to this bedroom that was there because the party was at some Airbnb, and we basically went in there and we started sitting down on the bed and just started talking. We started talking, and obviously one thing led to another. It ended up being us making out. We ended up making out, and then you guys probably were guessing where this was going. We were about to do the Devil's Tango. But right before we were about to do it, I remember this girl ended up getting up from the bed, runs to the light switch, turns it off, and it runs back. So she wants to do it in the dark. And when you're in the dark, I'm not gonna lie, like you can sometimes kind of see, like your vision kind of like makes it so you can see. I'm not gonna lie, this room had no vision. Like I was in the pitch black. Like it was scary. Like if someone was in that room, we wouldn't know. Like it was just that dark. We started getting all touchy and stuff, and one thing led to another. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right as I'm about to whip it out, bro, I am not joking. This girl spreads her legs and I like feel what's going on, and then that's when I realized my hand was soaked. Now, you guys are probably thinking, oh, like the girl's wet, like, you know, oh, like you're gonna pull. No, it wasn't that kind of wet, bro. It was the wet, like it could be urine. At this point, I got really grossed out. I'm like, yo, like what's going on? What is this? And I started like kind of like pushing my hands together. I'm thinking like, yo, this doesn't feel like urine, like that kind of wet. What is this? When I told her, yo, something's soaking wet, this girl ends up kicking me off, like literally pushing me off. And then she literally like gets up and runs out the door, leaving me in the room pitch black. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. At this point, I was like, okay, that's a little weird. Like, what's going on? I head towards the light switch and I turn on the light. And when I turn on the light, that's when I realized, oh my goodness, she is dying. I look at my hand and I see my hands like full of blood. Like, I'm not joking. Imagine this hand all bloody. Like, it was that bad to the point where I was so scared. And I'm like, okay, what's going on, bro? What is this, bro? And I start panicking. I start freaking out. I'm like, okay, maybe she's dying. Is she dying? Wait, what if she's dying? Oh my god, did I make her bleed? Like, I'm thinking, okay, something's gone wrong. I ended up taking a couple deep breaths, walking out of the room. And when I walked out of the room, I remember my buddy runs up to me. He's like, yo, Bubba, like I was looking all over for you, bro. Like, what happened to you? And then afterwards, he looks at my hand and he's like, Bubba, why is your hand all bloody? I look at him and he looks at me and he's thinking like, yo, this is some like spooky, scary stuff. And especially since it was October and Halloween night, I'm not gonna lie to you, he was scared as well. I look at him like, bro, I think this girl's bleeding. And then afterwards, he looks at me. He's like, bro, like, did you cut her? Like, did you hurt her? I'm like, no, it's not like that. He's like, okay, let's go check on her. So me and him, we end up going and looking around for this girl at the party, but she was nowhere. And I'm walking around with this bloody hand and I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I should probably go wash this off. I go to the bathroom, and there was only one bathroom at that party, which is crazy because there was over like 500 people at that party and there was only one bathroom, bro. I go into the bathroom. I just like walk straight in because no one wanted to be near me because I had a bloody hand. I walk in there and I see the girl was in there crying. This angel costume girl was crying so much on the toilet seat. And I look at her and I see that between her legs, she was bleeding. I look at her and I'm like, yo, like, did I cut you? No, I'm on my period. And she starts like crying and basically making a big fuss. And I'm like, okay, that explains a lot. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, that was the most embarrassing Halloween I think I've ever had, and also she's ever had. But at the same time, what can I say? It was the season, right? Sure, we'll just go with that. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.